All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. To start off this episode, we're going to crack open a nice happy dad.
Get it kicking right away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's kick back, enjoy a happy dad on this episode with our fans. And guys, crack open a happy dad yourself and enjoy another episode of 6 Feet Under.
Kevin don't give a shit. He don't care.
He does not care.
I give him Kevin Nash updates. From
Yeah,
his
he
podcast
gave me. It was yesterday.
Yeah, I gave you some yesterday.
You gave me some Kevin Nash up, and he said, "What?"
No, he does not. Oh my goodness, he
And
lets
you know
it
what?
fly.
And it's good. But that's exactly, you're talking about like the Cody thing, right?
Yeah, I was telling you about Cody yesterday. What, he
I don't
was
think
saying
it's
about Cody.
so people take that, and it could be obviously it could be his delivery a little bit, but I don't think Kevin has any angst towards Cody. It's just the way he perceives the business.
Yep.
And that's the nobody can
Because he's not going on there. He's not saying, "Oh, Cody Rhodes is a terrible wrestler." He's just saying, "I wish that Cody
had done this,
done this and this to tell the story a little bit different." The moves in the ring are great. What he's doing for the business is great. But man, maybe try this or this just to make the story feel a little bit different. That's all Kevin's saying. His delivery is just a little bit different.
It can be a little abrasive.
Yeah, abrasive is all his
Abrasive.
He comes out like a shotgun.
Yeah.
He's going to be our last guest on this show.
Oh my goodness, you guys are going to do numbers. You and Kevin
on
together.
Our final episode is going to be Kevin Nash and Mark, and I'm just going to serve him with popcorn, and I'm just going to watch those two guys light into the business.
This is the end right here.
They're just going to light into the business.
We need to see if I can get him booked.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall just to see y'all talk.
Did you see the episode where his co-host asked him? He goes, it was like a Q&A that he was doing. He's like, "Would you ever go on Undertaker's podcast?" And Kevin's like, "I mean, I don't know." He goes, "I have to fly out there." And it's like, I said, "Y'all are the same exact person." I was like, "You and Kevin." And Taker goes, "Yeah, I understand that.
I understand that.
Because I wouldn't fly there either."
I get it. I get it. I don't want to drive across town to come do this. If I went for sponsors, I'm glad. I mean, I get to. I don't get to talk to. Yeah, I get to hang out with my buddies, but
you know what it is? I think it's because being a wrestler, you're on the road. Especially back then, they were on the road like 5 days a week. So like driving becomes like a hassle. So I understand your plight.
But okay, thank you for understanding. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, you and Kevin.
That was hilarious, and his comebacks are hilarious. He just goes, "Well, when you sell as much as I did, they can talk to me." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, the man sold merchandise. You can't." Hey, his comebacks are amazing.
It's always like, I didn't even have to go in the ring, and I made more money than everybody else.
And you wrote you're like, well, you kind of did. Okay, well, all right, you got me.
The way he says it is just so like he just doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He's just sitting back, and he will sit there on his show, and he's like looking out his window, talking about the beach and everything else. Then it's all of a sudden he just like rips into somebody, and he's like, "Oh man, looks like there's a storm coming."
Kevin, I always thought of Kevin like a 7-foot Dennis Miller. I don't know why he always reminded me of Dennis Miller, and it was from the way he held his microphone, with his big old giant hands, and the way he held the microphone to deliver whatever he was saying.
Condescending on everything.
There's a hint of sarcasm on everything.
Him standing in that ring when that blood comes flying, comes out, it falls beside him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And he's just standing there and he looks at that blood and he looks down at Vince Russo and he just shakes his head. And it's just like he's pulling back the curtain right there without even wanting to, really. And he's just like, this is a show if I've ever seen one.
His special expressions are priceless.
Oh my gosh. Him and Razor just as the outsiders.
Man.
That was so fun to watch, those two guys, especially early on.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys that actually he produced my first match ever, Razor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came down one day to the PC and just saw me. He says, "Who the hell is that big guy? Like,
Right.
I wish I could wrestle because I want to wrestle him." And he and we got in the ring. He showed me a couple of things, and he's like, and I told him like, "Hey, I have a match." He goes, "Where?" I'm making Lincoln. He says, "I'll come." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Wow.
He said, "Yeah, I'll come." Drive up to the show, produced my first ever match.
That's great, man. That's great.
Ever match, like, yeah, like just like you, he used to call me all the time. And you know what's funny about it? Like, he would call me, and you know, I'll ask him about how you doing, how the kids doing, how Sky doing. He would just come like, "Hey, big fella, how you doing? I'm doing well. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Love you, man." Click. If I could get a word in, click. He's gone. He's gone.
Oh yeah, Kevin. You know, Razor. He didn't. I mean, he was. I don't think he got his flowers enough
No.
for how good he was.
He was really
God, I loved Razor Ramon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, even as Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was talented. He was on my my first tour of Japan back in. About way back.
Late 90s.
Later, maybe it was not late 90s. Maybe it was not even in the 90s.
Man, don't age yourself, man. You still look young, man.
There's an old school picture of you and him together, too.
Was shooting the double birds.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
a
my
classic.
first trip to Japan. Yeah, he could go, man. He was really talented.
Yeah. He had that look, too. I mean, he was just chiseled perfect.
And he was
I mean,
tall, too. Also,
Yeah, he was
when I saw him,
6'4",
I was like, "You're
6'5".
6'4". I'm like, "Yo, you're a pretty tall dude."
oh, wow. I didn't realize he was
And
that.
even as he aged, he still kept that swagger about himself. Like, it never went away. It was just part of who he was.
Yeah. But that's crazy. He produced your first match. What do you think we got my boy Almost?
Man,
Is he not a good dude?
what I loved more than anything was read. I went back and read the comments on his episode.
Yeah.
The fans love him.
Yeah. You can't not.
The fans love him.
You can't not love that guy.
Everyone's saying, for the love of God, give this man a push. Let's get him back on TV.
Yeah.
Let's get him back in the mix. And if anything comes from that podcast, if that podcast at all helps him some way or another be able to, somebody from WWE sees it, and they're able to go, you know what? Let's figure this thing out. That's what I hope comes from it.
I hope so. He deserves it. He's such a good guy, and you like to see people like that succeed.
He is so nice and scary all at the same time.
He's, I forget. I'm a big dude, and I know there's people that are bigger than I am, but until you see, I see a picture, and I'm pretty heavy right now, and I'm over 300 pounds, and I look like a child. Yeah, I look like a child standing next to him. And you look like an infant.
I'm 6'2", and that's what I reminded people on social media when I posted that picture of all three of us. And I was like, just as a reminder, I'm 6'2".
Yeah,
I'm taller than most.
Yeah, he's such a big man.
Yeah.
Got that deep, bellowy voice and his laugh, though, huh?
Did you see what people compared him to? His voice and his laugh and everything.
What?
Papa Shango.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like almost has some Papa Shango in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hope something. I hope they find something good for him.
It's just they are getting some more big men in WWE. That I feel like that era's coming. That trend's coming back a little bit where they're getting a few more bigger guys. But he's got to have that. He's got to have a big guy with him.
Yeah,
he has to.
There's nothing else that makes sense. There's nobody there, and there's just nobody on the roster that makes sense. I don't care how over or what you are, if you sacrifice that for any of the wrong. I just don't.
Yeah,
You can't do it. You have to be so judicious in how you handle him, and there's not many people I don't think that he shouldn't just squash. He is a modern day Andre.
Okay, speaking of that, something we talked about earlier today was managers and putting managers with the right people and everything else. Is he the type of guy that needs a manager, you think?
I think. I mean, he has the intellect, and obviously he's good. On the mic talking. I don't know. I think it's just having people that pose any kind of challenge to him at all. He's so much bigger than everybody. I mean, you got Braun Strowman out there. You got Bronson Reed. I could see a Gunther working with Omos, but having to really, really scrap from underneath to
God, you want to talk about stretching Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Omos could do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
He could make Gunther go into that toolbox like he's never gone in before.
Yeah. Somebody almost doesn't need to ever be pinned.
It has that Andre type of treatment.
Yeah.
If he loses, it's a DQ. It's a whatever.
There's always an out. There's always an out somewhere, but he doesn't get pinned. There's nothing in almost any scenario that makes sense. I don't care what comic book fantasy world that you live in.
Which means you don't ever have to put a belt on him either.
You don't need a belt.
You can make him an attraction.
No, he doesn't need a belt. He is a walking, breathing, living attraction.
Yeah.
And I could see him coming in as a heel and then something happening and him being just a ultra mega worldwide babyface.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have to work every week. That's the thing. He doesn't have to work on TV every week. What he can do and he's willing to do because he loves the industry and loves everything that comes with that. I mean, as an active competitor, he could be a global ambassador for the sport. Like Andre was the face of wrestling long before the Hogans and anybody else came along. Andre was the face of wrestling. What better can you think? I mean, you can't think of a better person if you want somebody to go out and represent your brand around the world. Somebody 7'4", 400-pound, intelligent human being with tons of personality. And he's like Mark Henry in a sense. Mark will scare you to death looking at him if Mark's got a scowl on his face. But as soon as Mark smiles, you feel like he's a big teddy bear.
You can trust almost with your brand.
My gosh.
You can put the brand in his hands and you can trust that he's going to do the right thing every time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's super special about him.
Yep.
And that global aspect was something I was going to ask you about. Is a guy like that, somebody that you send overseas and be that ambassador of WWE and the current product? Because I think that I think globally he's more of an attraction than he is in America.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people, Americans are used to big humans.
Yeah.
We see football players and basketball players all the time. But when you go to some of these countries where the people aren't quite as big. Yeah. Can you imagine him walking down the streets of Tokyo somewhere or anywhere like that? Or
exactly.
As an ambassador to the WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, and then when you have talent that he can work against too, you get two for the price of one. I really hope that they figure that out.
And I don't know what WWE's footprint is in just Africa, but I mean, in Africa, I mean, I feel like the money is there, you know what I mean? And if WWE ever wanted to tap into that market more.
There must be some kind of market there. I mean, like, I know on one of my platforms, like I'll go through there and like Lagos, Nigeria is like, there's more followers there. But I mean, so there's a whole, there's a
and
whole.
Does WWE do shows there?
I've never been on one. I mean, I'm not saying that they haven't. I mean, I know we've been to South Africa. And, but I mean, my goodness,
I'm telling you.
Can you imagine
if they did first of all, if you do a match there, he's got to be involved, right? He has to be.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
You want to talk about selling out whatever arena, stadium, whatever they've got there?
It would be huge. I don't know. I don't know all the logistics. Of working with people in those countries. I don't know if it's all what that entails. But my goodness, if there is a market that needs to be tapped into, my goodness. Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm talking, and I'm talking because I don't have any contact. I don't talk to any of the marketing geniuses that.
I imagine if there's money to be made there,
They're on it. They're working on it somehow. I'm sure. But for our audience, I'm just a big fan of the human being, and
super nice guy,
and loves the WWE and being part of that. And you just want to see people like that succeed.
Mark, of all of our sponsors, we probably get more responses for Bluechew than any other.
Yeah.
Guys, have a better time in the bedroom with Bluechew. Bluechew is the original brand offering chewable tablets that make all your bedroom activities just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Such as,
well, you know.
Oh.
You know.
No, okay. No details. Okay.
Yeah, you know what Bluechew can help out
I got you.
with.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you know what it can help out with. Bluechew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
What are
They
they
stepped
thinking?
up their game in 2025.
What are they thinking?
Oh, I have no idea. But all I know is they're not stopping until every creature of the night is,
Firm.
stiff. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days in discreet packaging, by the way.
Yes. That's
That's
important.
key.
Yeah,
That's key.
important.
You don't want the neighborhood Karen walking by going, "What's that on their front porch?"
Then they're looking it up and then they're talking
Maybe
about
Karen's husband needs some Bluechew and work her out. Bluechew tablets are made right here in the USA. God, I love an American-made company. And prepared and shipped directly to your door. Once again, discreet packaging. You can take them anytime, day or night, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever you want. It's part of my daily vitamin regimen.
You snack on Bluechew?
Snack on Bluechew. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
See, I see what you did there.
Best part, it's all done online. Nice and easy. You're not having to go to a doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Yeah, nobody wants to get their steroids for their wiener at a pharmacy.
No.
Does it work? Well, creatures of the night, find out for yourself and get a month free. If you don't, you could be missing out on the best time of your life. Bluechew will not stop until every man is bricked up.
Boom.
Boom. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free of Bluechew. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Bluechew for sponsoring 6 Feet Under. So go to bluechew.com and chew it.
And do it. That's right.
Thank you, Bluechew, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under.
We had the Battle of the Billionaires, and that was with Vince and me, and we each had our wrestler. He had Umaga.
Yeah, Umaga.
We had 2 good guys, and they wrestled, and fortunately my guy won, and the loser had the hair shaved. I said, I don't want to have my hair shaved. But we actually wrestled a little bit. You remember?
You mixed it up a little bit.
It was a pretty famous thing. But I think it has your all-time record for
pay-per-view buys.
For everything.
Yeah, it was a huge event.
Yeah, it was a big one. But you went down just before me, and the entrance into the ring is the greatest entrance into any arena that I've seen, okay? And I don't think it's going to even be topped. The whole thing of the music, the whole deal. And by the way, he's a dynamic guy. When he does this, he's very, slow and easy. And, so you're supposed to act, you're supposed to be a dead man. So, you're acting sort of dead.
Yeah.
And it's one of the greats. And that's why I'm surprised, because you're a quick guy. You move quick. But in the ring, he just sort of moved around. And you left just before us, and the place was going crazy. I said, that's a very tough act to follow. I'm not sure. And I didn't realize how big you were. I figured you were big, but not that big. So I'm standing with Vince, and they had other wrestlers in the room. It's like essentially the green room,
right
up high.
Right.
And you walked by me and said, hello, sir. And I said, this guy is really big. How tall are you, by the way?
Right now, probably I've lost a little bit through the years, but I'm right at 6'8".
6'8".
Yeah, my disc have been a little bit compressed through the years.
You get compressed. Well, that's normal. They say you get compressed and your feet get bigger. Did you ever hear that?
Well, I've always had big feet. Yeah,
Yeah,
my dad
yeah, you
used
do
to.
have big
Yeah, my dad used to tell me. He said, "You'd have been tall, boy, if you hadn't to give up so much for foundation."
That's right.
So,
But I said, this guy is really big. And you were wrestling a good guy that night. Do you remember?
I do remember
He was
Yeah,
a good specimen guy. And,
Yeah.
and it was great. But I said, how do we beat this, Vince? What are you doing? Why don't we go before them? We should go before them. But we had that was a great evening. And I think it said, I don't know if it still has, I think it still has your record.
It was. Yeah, it was a big night. It was in Detroit. Yeah, and
Well, I have a
WrestleMania
son
23,
who's
right?
6'9". Can you imagine? I have a son who's an inch taller than if you say. So you were probably at super height 6'9".
yeah, I was probably
6'9".
right there at 6'9".
So 6'9", like 360.
330. I kind of topped out at 330. That was. I
Pretty
felt
good.
like that was my.
And what do you weigh now?
I'm probably 305 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not bad, right?
No, it's easier. I'm trying not to replace any more joints. So
As a wrestler, you really lose a lot of joints, don't you? You really have.
yeah, I mean the body's not made to take
No,
that on
not
a
the
and then most people don't realize the schedule that we kept back then too, which was on the road over 200 days a year, and that's in the ring. So
So I've always wondered, because it's whether it's fun or entertainment, or you're still getting slammed around, right?
Yeah, like I
Does
said,
that
yeah.
ring take great absorption? In other words,
well, it's funny that when Vince started getting in the ring and mixing it up a little bit, the rings got a little bit softer.
yeah, right.
Before that, it would be just like taking a fall on this floor. I mean, they
Really?
were really hard.
Well, how did you do that? So that was wow. That's a
Yeah,
It's-
you just it's a crazy thing, and you just condition your body to it where you don't even, after you do it so much, you just don't even think about it.
How often did it? I mean, I know you're supposed to interview me, but I find it very interesting. How often did it happen where somebody gets really angry? In other words, you hit a guy accidentally the wrong way or something, and he's had it. And these are tough guys to start off with. You
Right.
know, they're not babies. How often did it happen where you're fighting somebody and you made a mistake and he gets angry and he really goes at you?
Yeah, back in the day, like, so I started with Vince in 1990, but before that, in the late 80s and stuff like that, guys were really salty, and they didn't take too many. You're supposed to be a professional, and
Right.
usually guys would. You think, well, if he hit me like that, then it's for a reason. So you'd they'd mix it up in the ring for a little bit, and then they'd get back in the locker room.
And what would happen? The guys would run into the ring and stop it, right? I was
it
told when you had
depends.
a lot of guys running into the ring,
Usually,
that usually meant that there was a problem.
Usually, when that happens, it's part of the show. When
So
guys
what,
are actually
what stops somebody from going nuts and really, really starting a real fight?
yeah, probably losing their job. Yeah, I mean, you have to. What we do is hard enough, but if you go in there and start taking liberties with somebody, and are starting trouble and having fights, you're not going to be around long. I mean, it's you have to have a cohesive unit of guys. You don't have to like each other. I think it's like politics. You don't have to like each other, but you have to be professional enough to work with each other.
Did you like some of these guys a lot, or not really?
Yes, no. A lot of the guys I'm really close with, and then there's some guys that I don't care much for, but it's kind of like the way I wish politics would get back to.
Yeah.
I may not agree with you, but I can share a dressing room with you. I can shake your hand, and we can do business.
If the Mean Mark Callis character got the attention and pop like the Undertaker, where would you have taken that character? Would it have been kind of like a WCW American Badass? Would you have returned some sort of Master of Pain, a Texas Red rides again? If Mean Mark Callis would have gotten that same pop that Taker got, that same push, where do you think you would have taken that Mean Mark Callis character?
Well, let me get another look.
Well, according to the checkbooks over at WCW, you wouldn't have been taking him to the bank.
Right, evidently. Yeah, I definitely would have I would have been I'd been like an independent sensation,
Would
right?
have been, yeah. So the AJ Styles before he got to WWE,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
great wrestler. I don't know if he was making any money or not. But
Yeah, that'd have been me, right? Yeah, that was. Yeah, even the mean mark. I still was. Yeah, I had the motorcycle chaps, and
yeah,
I would have probably continued along with that and just kind of honed in on that a lot sooner than I did, obviously, with American Badass. But no, I don't. Master of Pain. No, I don't think so.
Texas Red rides again.
Texas Red rides again. I'm the only Texas Red who wore a black mask.
It makes no sense.
Makes absolutely zero sense, right? But my hair was still red then, so I put a black mask on. They put a mask on because I looked like a baby, such a baby face at the time. So, I would have probably started dialing in on that whole biker theme a little sooner.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you already kind of had it with the chaps and stuff.
Yeah.
You had somewhere between like this cross of a Western and a biker. You know what I mean? Like this Western
like
look.
a Western biker.
Yeah, like,
It's always been a version of the original gimmick that DiBiase, when you first came out, it's always been, I'm talking since the Taker character, but then the American Badass, and then like the way it's coming, did you have input in that?
All that. The whole American Badass thing was mine.
Cool.
And there was two reasons why I did it. One, I was starting to feel a little stale, and two, I was, as great as the gimmick was and the character was, I was confined to what I could do to be true to the character, which was always the most important thing to me, was be true to that character and represent it the way people saw it. The Attitude Era comes along,
Things get
and
real.
you have Stone Cold cutting these crazy promos,
Yeah.
The Rock cutting everybody's cutting all these cutting edge promos, and it just didn't work. It didn't work for that original Undertaker version. So I needed to shift a little bit. I kept some elements, but then you get a little bit more of Mark Calloway with the American Badass, a hyped up version, because I've always rode bikes and I've always kind of been in that culture. So now I don't have any. I'm free. I can cut the same promos. I can tell Rock that I'm gonna. I think one of my favorite ones. I said I was gonna stick my boot so far down his throat he'd be able to kick his own ass or something like that. But I couldn't do that as the Undertaker, right?
No.
I can only as the American Badass could
Right.
I say things like that. So it helped me stay. It helped me stay relevant in
And
that
you
era.
proposed that, and they were cool with it. Creative was cool with it.
Everybody was cool with it, and I always had the vision that I would go back.
Well, what's funny is I think if that doesn't, from a fan perspective, if the American Badass doesn't exist, we don't get that 2.0 version of the Dead Man. It's kind of like a hybrid. It's a different.
Right.
It's not the original. It's kind of.
Yeah, it is a hybrid. It was a hybrid version. So now, I mean, every iteration that I kind of turned or moved into, I kept elements and brought them along with me, but continued to try and evolve the character. Like, so the Undertaker 2.0, there was, even, I guess it started with American Badass. Now that's when I really kind of started incorporating a lot of Jiu-Jitsu and stuff like that.
Yep.
Just because I'm keeping an eye, because I was always a mixed martial arts fan and a boxing fan.
Yeah.
So now I'm watching our product and I'm like, okay, well, this doesn't really work as well as maybe as if I got somebody and I got an arm bar 'em, or I've got a triangle choke on somebody, because UFC was like, they were growing so fast,
And
there was
Kurt
so
and Shamrock had been in at the time.
absolutely,
Yeah.
right. So it just made sense, and then now you go back and I've got all the dark, sinister characteristics, but I'm able to incorporate a different kind of style, and it was just able to continue to evolve it, because wrestling fans can get real flavor of the week. I mean,
I know. I was one of them.
well, Mark, we're halfway through this episode.
you know what that means.
The only way to get through it is some first form energy.
Yep. So we are the only ones not asleep.
Oh, man. Well, first Phorm Energy, got a little screaming freedom here.
Oh, man.
If you guys want to be able to make it through the rest of this episode, crack open a first Phorm and get some energy with us, because that's the only way we're going to finish this episode out, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good, man.
Yeah, they're all good. Thank you, First Phorm, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under.
My victory pose. It's what was then referred to as Shakespeare. That's what that's called. That's what everybody refers to it as.
Okay, Shakespeare.
So hit the Shakespeare after the 1, 2, 3. It was all usually. It started around the urn. I started doing it. I used to hit the flying clothesline, and I would roll up onto my knee and foot, and then Paul would be there, and he would lift.
Oh, that's right.
He would lift the urn, and then that's where it started.
That's true.
And then because I didn't pander to the audience, that what?
A little dry mouth.
You get a little cotton mouth there.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of became my signature bow, really, without actually pandering to the audience. But that's where it came from.
And when did you transition that over to being the finish? Once you and Paul went your separate ways?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I just always remember doing it, but I know I didn't. I mean, I know there was a time where after I would just get up, and then Paul Bearer would be in the ring, and he would, there was a lot of times where I would look like I was going to go, inflict some more damage on my opponent, and Paul would snatch me by the hair and put that urn in my face and, tell me my work there was done.
Yeah.
But probably at the end, after Paul was gone, I was on my own. It kind of became part of the repertoire.
That's why we brought the urn on set, so it draws you to come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that. I can tell you that. When the urn goes, so do I.
Goes with it.
Last ride, and there were certain things that started to get, like, you would amplify certain things, like the tombstone was amplified, the walking on the ropes kind of became a thing. You're amplifying. Are you seeing what works or what your body can do, and then getting rid of certain things?
Well, at the end, yeah, it was like, I was piecemealing what I could physically do.
Yeah.
Like my mind's eye could see, and my heart could see, but my body was just ravaged. There was just like no way that I could, and I was trying to give everything that I had.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mail anything in, but I had to figure out what I could do and do well. And you're right, like there's just certain things that I had to cut out just because I didn't do it well enough.
It's like young guys who put up these crazy finishers. It's like, are you going to be able to do that finisher in 10 years?
Yeah, no, exactly.
That doesn't look like a 30-year career.
No, I will tell you, like when I was in WCW, Jody Hamilton, he was, he ran what we call the gorilla position, the area right before we go out, and that's back when I would walk down the ropes. I would tightrope, and then I'd jump off. I'd jump off and drop the savage elbow off the rope. And I remember coming back once and already kind of limping. And I'm in my 20s at this point, and I'm limping. And Jody, I never forget coming back through the curtain. He's got his glasses sitting on the tip of his nose, and he says, "That finish is taking years off your career, kid." And I was like, no, sorry, Mr. Hamilton, I'll be able to do this forever. And I walked with a prominent limp by the time I got to in 1990 when I got to WWF. I was already limping because of dropping. I mean, it just wasn't the smartest thing to do.
As a kid, I mean, you throw somebody in a torture rack, you realize how hard it is to get someone up who's heavy, right? But you can put someone in a figure four all day. So it's like you got to start to think about
that sharpshooter looked like a pretty good finisher.
Like a great idea. Even the stunner, I guess you're hitting on the backbone, but it's like you start to. I would imagine. When you're filled with piss and vinegar, you're not thinking any of that.
No, you don't think down the road.
No.
You live in the moment, right?
Even your tombstone. I mean, do you feel like you'd have two new knees if that was not your
Probably
finisher?
not. I'd probably still have my original knees.
Yeah.
Just from dropping all in that weight.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry was, he was a load, man.
He's a big. That's all muscle. That's a big dude.
He was 400 pounds when I tombstoned him.
Where did the idea for the ministry goatee come from? Pointed at the corners of the mouth and shaped to a point, hanging off the chin. It reminds me of a pitchfork of sorts. Thank you, from Patrick Steer.
Obviously, I was trying to, I was trying to look as demonic and as I could, and I'd had the goatee for so long. I started letting it grow, and I think actually I got potatoed once in the chin, and I came back. And the hair on my chin was kind of split. I was like, I wonder. So then I started putting a little wax in there, and it turned into like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Little Dutch man tail,
a
actually.
little Yosemite Sam there. But yeah, it just happened by accident, really. Because it always look back at this one segment I did with Triple H. Like, I had been off TV and he had been off TV, and we were going to work at Mania. And so I came out first. People are going nuts, right? Undertaker's back. And when I got to the ring, before I could say anything, Triple H's music hits. And he'd been nursing an injury, so he had been off TV for months. And now they're they're like, what? Because we got two comebacks at one point, and he comes to the ring, and we did the old, we did an old stare down. We never said a word to each other. Not one word on the mic. We stared at each other, and then we looked up at the sign, and then the place erupted because they understood, like, oh, Triple H and Undertaker going at WrestleMania.
Wow.
And we never said a word to each other.
That's the magic for me.
And that was one of the, like, talking about like special moments of feeling and knowing that you have them, because they understood everything and there was nothing said. And I was just like, we got in the back and we were like two little giddy schoolgirls. we got him. Yeah. But we knew it. We figured, like, we wanted to always have that. I loved like going into Manias and trying not to have any physicality with my opponent.
I was about to say that.
That's hard.
Not even having to touch, not even
That's
touching
hard,
each other.
especially building it for months in advance. That's hard.
Yeah, and I would try every year. I was like, I don't want any physicality. And of course, damn. I mean, we got to do, we got to do this, we got to do that. I'm telling you, I said, we can do it. We can do this completely without touching. Because by the time, a lot of times, the way we book things is like every week, okay, this guy gets to him, and then he gets to him, and then by the time you get to Mania, or whatever big match it is, you've already seen them go back and forth.
Yeah.
And
You've taken out the tension.
yeah, I want to build that tension up. Like, what's going to happen? And I think who's done a really good job of it, and who's had a good run of late is Punk and McIntyre.
Oh, man.
I mean, that was good. I mean, you made it to Hell in a Cell, brother. That's the blow off of blow offs. But Drew has really elevated his game,
And I think Punk has helped that a lot.
I think so too. Yeah.
Punk has really pulled him into a different level that I think Drew needed a Punk to bring him to. That we all knew that Drew had, but he just didn't have that guy that could
pull it out of him.
Yeah, pull it out of him.
That's been entertaining. That's been entertaining, man.
And I just don't know if there was anybody else on the card lately that could do that for Drew. And CM Punk's been able to tap into whatever it was with Drew that's made it where, my God, we wanted to see that match. We wanted to see that Hell in a Cell match. Mark.
Yes, sir.
Our great sponsor here, Artisan Grange. We've talked about them for a while now. These guys got a little CBD pouch, 5 milligrams, great flavors.
Which flavor is this?
This is the wintergreen. So if you're trying to come off dip or anything like that, you have to cut. These are brand new cans. Artisan Grange help you out. Ooh, look at you with your knife. I've seen you sitting over there with that today.
I thought I might need it.
Artisan Grange is a company started when a group of former tobacco dippers wanted a dip alternative that actually tasted like tobacco. So they decided to make one on one condition. It supports American farmers. No matter what your taste, hemp dip satisfies without tobacco, nicotine, or fake fillers. Each pouch contains 5 milligrams of full spectrum CBD from the hemp. The community of hemp dippers who have switched from tobacco and other alternatives is a proud group of dippers who have pride in dipping as a simple pleasure again. One you can do because you want to, not because you have to, and supporting the American tradition of farm quality. So, thank you, Artisan Grange, for sending us some of this product. You gotten in there yet?
I can't get in.
What is, man? You can tell you're from the West Coast over here in Texas.
The West Coast. The Southwest Coast.
It smells good. It smells like a wintergreen.
Did you get one?
Yeah, it tastes pretty good.
That's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, thank you, Artisan Grange, once again for supporting 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway.
Thank you, Artisan Grange.
How many years have you done it?
So I had a in-ring career of right at 35 years.
I mean, that's amazing, and you're still in one piece. Right?
I'm in one piece. I got some new parts. I got some new knees. I got
Does
new hips.
every wrestler end up essentially having to get new parts?
At some point, usually, you're going to have something that needs to be replaced. There's very few guys that get out unscathed, and that's.
You ever get hurt so badly that you basically can't continue the match, and you got to be, like, literally helped out and carried out?
It happens. It happens, and it's just part of what most people don't realize, Mr. President, is that although we're entertainment, but in any given match, you're 2 inches away from something really catastrophic happening.
Absolutely.
And then when you figure the amount of dates per year that you work, I mean, that really goes up exponentially. The risk factor.
So you'd work 200 days a year.
I had an 8-year stretch where I averaged about 220 days a year.
And that you can just keep going.
You just kind of get in that zone. Your body kind of gets used to the trauma, and you don't feel right. Actually, if you go home for too long, you kind of get restless, and your body feels too good, and you think, I got to go back to work.
That's great. Well, you had a great career. Fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do.
People love you. That's why. So I heard they said, and I heard you were a fan. I don't want to say, but I heard you were like a political fan of mine, and I appreciated that. But I said he was such an incredible athlete entertainer, because it's an entertainer. You have a lot of great athletes that can't entertain. You might as well forget it in your sport, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of, and that's what most people don't really grasp. I mean, you can be a great athlete and not excel. You've got to have the whole package. You have to basically, and I think you've been a master of this. You got to make people care. You got to make them care one way or another. Either they love you or they hate you.
So who do you think, outside of you, who do you think was the greatest combination of athlete, entertainer, et cetera, et cetera? Who was the greatest of the couple of greatest that you've seen? My
goodness, there's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
He was up there. You'd have to put Hulk Hogan in there, right. And Ric Flair. Right. Those are guys that just kind of off the top of my head could captivate you with what they had to say, deliver a performance in the ring, and then.
Now you were much too young. Haystacks Calhoun, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Did you ever? You were too young.
Yeah. I think a little before my time.
But he weighed like 500 or something.
He was a big man. He was a big man.
He was a big one.
Yeah.
Let's see. You had a lot of beauties. I'll tell you.
I had my share of giants. That Vince used to feed them all to me when I first came up. Like if there was a giant, there was a monster.
Right.
They were coming my way first, and if I could work with him, then he would let Hogan or somebody else work. But I had to break them in.
Walking down the hall,
towards us now was Giant Gonzalez. And he goes, that is where you're going. And I'm going, no. Because I had fled. People talk, about Oli telling me that I would never draw money and all that, which was obviously a main part of the reasons why I left WCW. Mm-hmm. But also they were trying to get me into a program with Elegante. That was his name there. It was Elegante. And I remember doing a battle royal with him, and it was like a ding, ding, ding. It was like everybody that was in this battle royal all went to completely the opposite side of the ring and tied up with somebody, and it was just me. I'm like, oh crap! I'm the last guy, so I had to get tied up with Elegante, and I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna get up here on this second rope, or I'm gonna set on the top rope, and just kind of give me a push, and I'll get out. And anyway, so I do this, and he hits me so damn hard that I spin out of control, and then I hit right on my spine. I hit right on the corner of the apron. Oof. And I'm laying, and I'm thinking, oh, that hurt. And I remember going backstage, and Kevin Sullivan was there, and he goes, hey, kid, what do you think about working with the big fella? I was like, oh, no, I'm good. Yeah. And I'm greener than hell. Like, I got no juice. I have zero juice. They already have told me that I don't have any future here, and no one's ever going to pay money to see me. I'm like, no, I don't need any part of that. And so I end up going to WWE or WWF at the time. And I'll be damned if he doesn't come to WWE. And I still end up working with him.
He wanted to work with you, man. He was like, one time in the Royal Rumble, like, you know what? I need to work with him, man. He's the guy I need to work with.
I know that we can make money. That's all.
That was good.
That was like, oh, you smell it? You smell it? And I was like, you smell the money? And I was like, no, I smell shit. Because that's
exactly what I'm smelling right now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I've gone a couple of months without saying this, but one of the most frustrating things I ever watched was when Hogan kicked out of his tombstone.
100%.
And the first time for the title, and he tombstones him, and he kicks out on one.
It's
like kick out on
not even 2.99.
Yeah, kick out. If you're going to kick out, man, I'm telling you, let's cross those arms. Let's kick out on two. Because now you just the
or
fans
do an
go
interference,
crazy.
or do something that makes it that the person was going to be pinned.
Because no one else has ever kicked out of that.
Put a foot on the rope.
Yeah.
Do something that doesn't give me something that makes it know that he was out cold.
Yeah. There's a lot about that match.
And listen,
but I agree with you. I'm in that same boat with you.
But I think because most people in the world aren't thinking 10 steps down the road. And 10 steps down the road is, what are we starting here? Because if we do this, where is this going to go? And where it goes is, dropping 6,
I don't
RKOs on someone to take
this whole
them
thing
out.
is like the RKO is supposed to
take you out.
Why do we need to do 6 of them?
We
right?
don't.
I'd rather see this match to where like Randy is doing everything he can to get to that RKO, and he keeps getting stopped, and he's doing everything he can to get to it. I would rather see that all day long.
It also loses its momentum now. Now it's because the greatest thing about something like an RKO or a stunner or a diamond cutter is they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or when Scott Hall was going to pull you up in that razor's edge, somehow it'd be awkward. Or if Christian was going to, I used to love Christian's finisher. I forget what it was called, where he would turn you around the back-to-back one. But it's like oh my God, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. When he would spin someone and you're taking him on a tombstone, like you're waiting for that moment the whole time. If you do it, you've lost it now.
Yeah.
If it happens multiple times, who cares when it comes for the 6th time or the 5th time?
Yeah. Especially if it happens in like the first couple of minutes of a match.
Yeah.
The guy's going to kick out.
I think what happened is that you got to the big matches, like in the WrestleManias, and you had 2 guys, and then in a particular match, when the time was right, you let somebody kick. Now, for years, I had so much equity built up in my finish. Nobody kicked out of my finish. And then when I finally maybe Sean, there was a couple.
Yeah.
But then what happened, I think the people that are, the wrestlers coming up watching were like, oh man, what a pop that gets when you kick out of their finish. And now everybody's finish is bastardized. And, now it's commonplace. They do it all the time.
But when Sean kicked out, there's 20 years worth of equity built up into
that's
that
what I'm
kick
saying.
out.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
It's also WrestleMania. Maybe if we're going to do it, save it for certain.
And that was the deal.
Yeah.
That was the thing. But they puts in the younger guys' minds like, that gets a hell of a pop. That's the thing. So now nobody's finish means anything.
Yeah.
It's just like it is. Everything's a high
And
spot.
you talk about protecting that finish so much,
Yeah.
and it is frustrating when you see people are kicking out of their finishers.
Yeah, I mean that's just one. I think again, what has changed so much because it's so similar. Wrestling and Hollywood is so incredibly similar, and we just talked about the mixing in of MMA too. When we were talking about it, I think that the appreciation for the mystery and the art of it has kind of gone. When you see, okay, so for example, and I'll age myself, it's like I would watch actors on Johnny Carson or something, and I'd be like, oh my God, I didn't know they had an accent. Or, oh man, I didn't know they lived there. I didn't know, wow, that's fascinating, right? Because that's the only time I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So their characters were protected because I didn't know that Bruce Willis played in a band until I see it because I'm thinking of John McClane or Pulp Fiction or whatever. So I'm getting a little morsel of his life. Now I know everything about everyone's life. So why would I believe you on screen? I don't believe you if I know what kind of gas you put in your car.
If I know what kind of gas you put in your car.
That's what I'm saying.
That is the best statement ever because people film everything.
They film everything.
Mark, I like a little nicotine.
Do you?
Oh, you know me and cigars.
That's true.
Yeah, I like a little nicotine. And we got a new partner for 2025, NYKD.
Yes.
Yes,
Pouches, man.
they got the pouches. Much better than any ones that I've tried. And there's plenty of other competition. You know who that is out there. But if you're looking for a way to get your nicotine fix without smoking tobacco, because my wife absolutely hates when I go outside and smoke a cigar.
Really?
Yeah, because I come back in.
Oh,
and
you smell.
I smell like an ashtray, and she
Yeah.
can't stand it. So when I want that fix, and I want to keep her happy, maybe I'm on a plane ride, in church. I don't know. Throw one of these in.
Yeah, these aren't frowned upon like if you
No.
did, like, if
Because
you
I mean, this
dip
is just nicotine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a pouch and it's clean and it's.
And NYKD is super thin. You can barely see it when you put it in. This is the peppermint one here. So like something you can open up in your car, and it's a nice, refreshing smell. They got like 10 flavors.
Yeah, I've got.
What you got there?
I've got the 6 milligram. What do we got here? We got
Berry lemonade.
Berry lemonade.
That's like a drink,
Right?
Berry lemonade.
It just looks happy.
Yeah, it looks happy. They've got them in 3, 6, and if you're a brave boy, 12 milligrams.
12 milligrams.
12 milligrams. I think 12 might be a little much for me. These are 6s that I got right here. 12 might be pushing it for old Matty B. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can handle 12.
Listen.
If I did 12, I would say it'd be a bad day.
Bad day?
It'd be a bad day for old Matt. I'm not doing that. Also, guys, these things last up to 2 hours, and you can barely tell that I have it in. All right. So today, make the switch to NYKD nicotine pouches. You're going to love these. Right now, our listeners are creatures of the night. You get 35% off when you order through our exclusive URL. Go to NYKD Pouches.com/6 feet. Get 35% off. Special offer isn't just for your first purchase. You get to use it up to 3 times.
What?
Yep. This isn't just a one-time deal. Up to 3 times. Don't wait. You get 35% off now at NYKD NYKD.
That's an incredible deal.
Pouches.com/6 feet. That's NYKDPouches.com/6 feet. Now, just remember, NYKD products are only for adults of legal age, Mark, and every order is age verified. Don't be trying to sneak around out there. The product does contain nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. But if you don't want to smell like smoke and you're tired of dealing with tobacco, switch over to Nicked.
Clean alternative.
It's a clean alternative. NYKDPouches.com/6feet. NYKDPouches.com/6feet. They got all kinds of crazy flavors, 10 of them. Go check them out. Thank you, Nick, for supporting 6 Feet Under podcast.
And I know now everything about you.
Yeah.
So I don't believe you.
You're eating kale salad for dinner, and now you're supposed to be this like bad, big, mean dude.
God.
Come on now.
Matt, let's just set out. Preach. Come on.
We'll pass the art around. This is our offering.
We're just going to set out and you just.
But that's the biggest
my
fight of my
gosh.
career. My biggest fight now is that we've opened up to all high spots going in every way, meaning like, okay, now if you don't have a presence where you become a brand, which has got to be the worst word. I mean, give me a chair shot when I hear people say that. But it's like when you become a brand, right? Now you've taken away anything to do with playing pretend. I'm a court jester. I play pretend. You're not supposed to know anything about me.
Yeah.
You're supposed to believe me as Juice Shades, in the current show Penguin, Dr. Rush. You're supposed to believe me as someone else. But if you know all about my life, if you hear me talk all the time, now you have an opinion. And your opinion's going to bleed into when you see me. And then people go, well, that's not true if you're good enough. No, it's not true because the second they know something, it's gone. And this is, again, the whole cave. I got to tell you,
Just crack a beer. Just drink some happy dad and just sit back and have yourself a...
This absolutely right now is the best interview we have done.
Because I think about it all the time because you're not so for me, I'm so hell-bent on like protecting like these things that I'm trying, because it's hard enough to make people believe you. Especially for me, I'm trying to always look different. I'm trying to talk different. I'm trying to be different, lose weight, gain weight, do this. Just trying to be different in these projects I'm doing. Why would you want to know, like, who cares what I eat? Who cares what this?
I'm going to bring up Sopranos again because of James Gandolfini,
Yeah.
right? Like, people that have, now found out about him, I mean, he was very much he would play hacky sack
Yep.
and stuff, on set and everything, right? Like, he was just this laid back type of, I would call him a hippie, but he was just
Yep.
a kind of a...
He was an artist.
Yeah, he was an artist. Wore Birkenstocks and all that stuff, right? If you knew that about him while watching Sopranos as a viewer, it's really hard to believe Tony
If you
Soprano.
knew anything about him.
Yeah.
This is the difference. We didn't know anything about Spencer Tracy unless somebody said, or Cary Grant, or we just didn't know unless what they gave us.
Yeah.
And then that's why the book 20 years later or the documentary is so good, because you're learning things you didn't know.
Yeah.
But if you know everything now, that book doesn't mean anything.
And you probably are like me too. I love learning about wrestlers from the 80s and 90s and stuff that I grew up watching that I love. And then all of a sudden you learn a little bit about their personal life. And I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. But then it's all of a sudden you're like, oh, crap.
If I knew what I knew, like I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, I was nuts. Wrestlers were my superheroes because
Yeah.
I wasn't really into, I read comics and stuff, but it was me going into Walden Books, this bookstore in the mall, and I would like read wrestling, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I would literally, and I was obsessed with like Abdul the Butcher, for example, like because I had never seen, like here's this guy fighting with forks and bloody and has all the marks on his head, and I was like, this is the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I don't even know how old I was, 6, 7, 8, or whatever. I just thought it was, there was never that much blood. And I'm only seeing it in black and white because I'm on the East Coast, so I don't get any of that footage. I'm getting Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund. I'm not getting that. I'm only getting it through black and white footage in a magazine. He was terrifying. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so fascinating if I knew everything about him that I know now,
Yeah.
it's not as terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not, that's lost. That magic of that is lost. Mil Mascaras was a guy, like if I'm seeing the guy without the mask and I'm knowing that he's a regular guy, these are all guys that I didn't know anything about them until I was later in life. If I saw them on someone's podcast or somebody was shooting on them on a YouTube channel or something, I didn't know about them. I think that's the same for acting. I think it's the same for athletes. You've chosen to be in a profession of entertainment, of court gesturing. So I always say, I don't exist. I, Theo, don't exist as a person. I exist as Theo the dad when I'm around my kids, Theo the husband when I'm with my wife. I'm always someone else. I'm rooted in nothing because I don't exist. I'm in the moment that I'm in. So I have no opinions on anything. It makes people go nuts when they ask me something. I have no opinions on anything because I just go, it doesn't matter.
I keep hearing these stories about these guys that'll go out to dinner and the rookie have to pick up the tab.
Oh, that was me. I still hold the record right now. I still hold the record.
Have you heard about these?
Oh yeah.
What's the record then?
I had it. So when you're a rookie, first round draft pick, you have to take out. Our rule was you had to take out the team if you're 4 years and up. So 4 years, you make you vested. 4 years and up, you got to take out everybody. So we went to a place in Del Mar in San Diego. Mind you, I'm 21 years. I don't know shit, right? I'm like, all right, what's the dinner? You know,
You just got a big paycheck.
yeah, I was just like, whatever, dude. I got my black card. I don't care, right? And so I'm in my head, I'm thinking like this dinner can't be more than like 5,000 or 7,000. Like, what are they gonna order? Just food, right? So I have no idea. I'm thinking like, okay, if it got crazy at 10, like, okay, I'll just pay off and whatever, right? So we're sitting there, and this is a nice restaurant in Del Mar called Papa Moose Grill. It's like one of the nicest places.
Right.
So we go in there, and everybody started piling. Drew Brees is in there, and like Lorenzo and all the older guys. And so I'm like, yeah, just go ahead and get whatever. And I'm over there sitting with Antonio Gates, and they order these bottles, and I'm like, okay, what are these bottles? And I'm sitting there drinking, and I look at the front, and it said Louis the 13th. Well, so we all had a couple shots of it. Me, Jamal Williams, our D tackle, and Antonio Gates. We all had a couple shots or whatever. The bottle's empty now. So I look at the waitress. I say, bring.
You're feeling it. Now you're feeling it now, right? You're feeling it. All right.
Like a basket of bread. Just we'll keep that coming.
Yeah, I was like, man, this tastes good, right? I'm having a blast. And so Antonio Gates kind of grabbed my wrist and said, hey, are you sure? I said, yeah, man. Let's go, order another one. They bring another one over. So we go through the second bottle of Louis the 13. I mean, it's four of us. Four of us. We go through this bottle in probably 20 or 30 minutes. So now I'm like, okay, shit, you know what? Just go ahead and bring one more, right?
Oh, we're on three. We're on three now?
So I'm on three.
Okay. All right. All right, big
and
time.
then they started to, kind of giggle and laugh. But see, it playing it back in my mind now, I didn't know what was going on, And, our D tackle Jamal Williams over there, he's 350 pounds. He's stuffing his face. He's drinking, and, Drew Brees has 2 bottles of wine that I don't even know what the hell it is, right? I just, to himself right in the front.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So fancy.
So I'm sitting there, having a good time, and the owner of the place, they come and grab me and say, Sean, we want to see you in the back. I said, for what, man? Just go ahead and bring the check. Let me go ahead and knock this out and get out of here. They said, no, we need to see you in the back. I said, man, you guys, you're making this a big deal, right? You're making this too much of a, just bring me the check, let me pay the check, and Sean, please, come to the back with us.
We got a financier back here. So
I'm going
We're going to need to
back.
run a credit check.
we got a mortgage lender back here that's got to sit down with you.
So I go in the back, I'm in the kitchen area, and they bring me out the receipt for this damn bill. And this rolled out like a CVS.
I got the coupons and everything.
It keeps going. It rolled down and hit my foot. Man, it hit my foot. And I knew it was all bad. Right? I knew it was all bad. I knew this was bad. I knew it was bad. I didn't want to look. And so, I'm lifting up the receipt. I mean, it's dragging like right next to my ankle. So I'm lifting it up, and I saw, and it was like $32,322. My heart sank to my ass, dude. I mean, my just dropped. and I thought I was nauseous.
Bet you were.
Yeah. So I had that quick sober up moment. Something happened. You just sober up real quick, and I'm looking at this bill, and my heart is dropping. I'm dizzy almost. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna pass out." I'm 21 years old. I've never seen nothing this big before in my life, and it was so bad. When it's bad when you start arguing about little shit on there.
Man, I didn't order 3 Cokes.
Who ordered that Diet Coke?
Yeah.
So I'm arguing with the owner about this damn asparagus.
$14 for asparagus? Who ordered for that? You don't charge that.
I said, man, I don't even eat asparagus. Who eats this? Man, and I'm just totally sick. And
you start asking for a military discount.
Oh, man.
You got the AARP.
So I got my black card. I don't want to give them my card. I want to work something out for later on. I'm like, we got to fix this. Right?
Signing.
Something. I'm going to put this shit on layaway. Something, right? I want to pay. So it was the one time that I was hoping that my decline. I was begging for it to decline.
Please decline.
So I handed my black card, and they take it in the back. I'm like, please decline, so I can come and work something out later on, some big discount or something. That went through. They never called me.
Oh.
They just went right through. They never called because I was going to tell them it's fraud. I was like, somebody sold my. And they feeding all of Del Mar.
I love a midnight snack.
What do you got?
And my favorite is eating cereal late at night. I know it's one of yours.
Yeah, it is the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I don't want to feel guilty when I'm doing it and everything, but I don't feel too guilty when I'm having some Magic Spoon late at night. It's
How could you? 0 sugars, only 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein. You're doing a body good, brother.
Oh, it tastes so good. I love Magic Spoon.
The high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, naturally flavored, totally delicious, childlike cereal for grown-ups.
That's what it is. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa. That's what we've got.
That's what we got, baby, right there.
And there's so many more. Also, they got treats. We're all out of our treats.
That's how good they are.
This is our snacks around the studio. The Magic Spoon brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. Which is this one here, and that's probably the reason why there's no more left in the box. Magic Spoon, we need some more. So, for our listeners, you creatures of the night, get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/6feet. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/6feet for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream. Hold on to your Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon, thank you so much for sponsoring the 6 Feet Under podcast and making a delicious product.
When I played basketball, when I was getting ready, I got an opportunity to play. So I grew up in Houston, right? So I got a chance to play with all the guys on Phi Slamma Jam in the summer leagues, right?
Oh my goodness!
And then
awesome.
I got to play at Fondy Rec, which Fondy Rec in Houston in the summer, you never knew who would be in there, whether it be Moses Malone or Barkley or all these guys, right? And then I had a high school coach who went to the University of Houston, and then I'd get to go up to Hofheinz Pavilion and play with the current Cougars at the time, the University of Houston guys. I was there when Olajuwon was there.
Wow.
And I was convinced that everybody from Nigeria
was tall.
Was tall. Like
Every one of them.
everybody. It's like, how are all these people coming from Nigeria that are all 6'11" and 7 foot and incredible footwork? So a funny story. So I'm in high school still, and so I'm playing with all these guys. There's Clyde Drexler's there, Larry Michal, Rob Williams. All these guys are playing, and so I get on the team finally. I get a run, and I'm playing the 2. Like I'm a 5. I'm a 5.
You playing 2?
I'm playing 2.
You're a shooting guard.
I have no business. I have no business. I have no business at the 2, right? So we're coming down the court, and you can help me with this because I'm probably going to say it wrong, but so I'm on Hakeem's team, right? And so I'm bringing the ball up the left side, and he's running. And like, dude, he was incredible. His footwork and everything was just next level.
Absolutely.
He's running on the other side, and so Doma is it like a pass? He's wanting me to throw him an alley oop.
And alley oop, yes.
Yeah. So, but he was saying it in Nigerian, I guess, or whatever. I don't know what it was saying, but it wasn't. You know, he was pointing, and I'm like, I just crossed mid-court, and he's already on the end, and he's pointing for an alley-oop. And I'm like, oh, crap. So, but I let it loose, man, and I threw it. The ball, I was like, oh, dang, right, you know, and I threw it. The ball was way above the box, and I'm thinking, crap, I just threw that away, you know, and no. He caught the ball on the run above the box, dunked on this dude, man. And comes back, you know, and we're running back up the court, and he kind of gives me a little nice pass, man. And I'm like,
hold on. You had an assist
Yes.
with Hakeem Olajuwon?
yeah, in a pickup game.
I don't care if it's in a pickup game or not.
absolutely,
I'm sitting there thinking like,
Yeah.
okay, you've got this 30-year Hall of Fame wrestling career, and just now,
You play with Hakeem.
now
Yeah.
you've got me like, holy crap.
dude,
I never knew this.
I played, and so then I ended up going to the University of St. Thomas, and we ended up hosting the Coors Light Summer Pro League. So I got to play with Moses. I got to play with Barkley. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wait, hold on. Did these guys know that? Did
I
they
don't even know
remember?
if they know who I am.
I'm sure they know who you are.
but
do
not
they
who I was.
remember
Yeah.
that you were there for that?
You should, whenever you see them, you definitely let them
I
know.
should, because I don't think, they have no clue. Like, because I was just a skinny, redheaded, kid that I look a lot different now, but.
I'm sure they'll be like blown away that they
The
found
internet
out.
needs to make this happen.
I don't know,
Yes.
because I've done signings. I've done signings with, or been in the room with Clyde and Hakeem, and I never
But
crossed
you're
my.
never the guy that will go up and go, hey, do you remember
No,
when I
you're
did
not.
this? You're not that guy.
You're not.
Yeah, Hoffine's Pavilion, man. Anyway, so I threw this errant pass that Hakeem made me look like I was Magic Johnson, man. He was just like,
I would have that picture blown up in my
Man.
house. That would be
No,
over
that
my,
big thing. When you're
that'd be
thinking,
over my fireplace.
you got to
No,
look
I'm
back.
telling the story every week.
Yes.
I play with Hakeem.
Well, yeah. It didn't help me much. I ended up with a 30-some-odd year career in wrestling, but
It still worked out,
It worked
the
out the way it was-
cardio, the fork.
it worked out the way it was supposed to. But yeah.
Oh my God, I never knew that.
You never knew?
No. I know you said like you played with a couple of guys that made it to the
He
NBA,
makes it
but
seem like no.
oh, he's like, I played with a couple of guys made it to the
NBA.
NBA. Not top 50 of all
All
time
time,
guys.
yeah.